guy that saved his team a lot of errors with his ability to scoop the ball out of the dirt on goals from the infield.
At UFC 114, the future of the UFC's light heavyweight division will be determined by two men who have held the belt in the past.
For Quentin Rampage Jackson, his goal, his desire is 100% firmly fixed on regaining the UFC light heavyweight title. Who's in front of him? The man who he hates more than any other guy in the sport, Rashad Evans.
I'm gonna knock you clean out. That's my belt. My belt. Okay.
Rashad is all talk. Bitch. Time for stepping in the octagon. I guarantee you, he grind.
Back up, dude.
He ain't gonna back up. None of this stuff he said.
With Rampage, I see like a little boy. It's like a insecure little boy.
The person who wins this fight will be guaranteed a shot at the title.
And a third elite light heavyweight attempts to enter the conversation.
There's a lot of hardcore fans that aren't even aware of Rogerio Nogueira. Everyone knows about Minotauro, his bigger twin brother.
Rogerio Nogueira is looking fabulous.
He is easily as talented as his brother, and maybe even better.
He's been in Rodrigo's shadow for a long time.
Quero provar para todo mundo que eu posso ser campeão também.
I want to win the UFC belt and prove that I can also be a champion.
Former UFC light heavyweight champion Rampage Jackson settles his grudge with another former champ, Rashad Evans. British middleweight striker Michael Bisping tries to cut down jiu-jitsu expert Dan Miller. And international star Antonio Rogerio Nogueira battles 18-2 Jason the Hitman Brills. The countdown to UFC 114 starts now. In December of 2008, Rashad Evans fulfilled a dream.
Big punches by Rashad.
Knocking out Forrest Griffin for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship.
Rashad Evans is the new UFC Light Heavyweight Champion. Bullholes heading to third.
2 months later, Rashad was ringside when his teammate, Keith Jardine, was defeated by former champ Rampage Jackson. After the fight, Rashad entered the octagon.
I'm getting that belt back. Rashad, getting that belt back. I'm not getting knocked out. I'm gonna knock you clean out. That's my belt. My belt. Okay.
I think it bothers him the fact that I'm not intimidated by him. I like to be able to make jokes on somebody, but I can come back with him and say something too.
A title fight was scheduled for UFC 98, but jaw surgery forced Rampage off the card. Instead, the rivals were named opposing coaches on season 10 of The Ultimate Fighter.
I was like, hey, who am I gonna coach against? He's like, Rampage. I was like, wow.
At the Tough Gym, tensions reached a boiling point. Often.
I know what I'm doing.
You look like you know what you're doing.
I know what I'm doing.
You being you.
I'm being me.
Selfish.
Rampage is one of those guys he likes to talk.
You got a big ass mouth. I'm gonna go cost you.
He likes to get in your head.
Rashad, you avoided me. I ain't said nothing. You avoided me though. That's what I'm saying.
Because I'm going outside. Don't worry about what
They trying to look good for some dudes.
Fool. Bitch. Both of them.
I know he walked away and called us bitches.
Rashad just laughs and he gets right back in Rampage's face.
Treat me like a bitch, Rashad. Treat me like a bitch right now. You a coward ass bitch. You in my face calling Rashad.
Back up, dude. There'd be days where I couldn't stop myself, and it was going through my mind like, yo, I should just rush in there and start fighting him, man. Like, I was like sitting there and I'm shaking. I'm like, yo, I should just go punch him in his face. I should go punch him in his face.
Instead, Rashad let his team do the talking.
We kicking Rampage's ass.
So I was just so cocky, it was unbearable.
Having 7 in a row, it bothered him, man. He just got to the point where he just gave up.
I had to restrain myself from hitting Rashad several times. You know, I didn't even want to be near him.
Season 10 of The Ultimate Fighter was supposed to culminate in a December 12th showdown between the coaches in Rampage's hometown of Memphis, Tennessee. But instead, Rampage opted to film a movie in November.
To find out the dude's not gonna fight when we scheduled a fight in his hometown, I was like, is this serious?
While Rampage acted up, Rashad threw down, taking out dangerous top contender Thiago Silva.
Are you ready, sir? Ready? Fight!
Give us your thoughts on what's next for Rashad.
Well, I hear there's an actor that came back into the fighting game in the UFC. And Rampage, I know you watching, so come back, man, let's get it on.
At UFC 114, 14 months of simmering hatred will finally come to a boil.
Millions of years can pass, I still be motivated to shut Rashad up.
Rampage, he disrespected me in a lot of ways, man. Like a little boy putting on for his friends around. I just think nothing but just like a insecure little boy.
The main goal is to destroy him.
Up next, 2 middleweights with something to prove.
I'm just gonna stick punches in his face.
Miller lands some big punches from the top.
He's gonna need a couple of these. I'm just gonna put it to him.
Miller on this big too.
He's gonna get knocked out or TKO'd.
Relentless swings against Bisping.
But either way, I'm winning this fight.
Bisping smells blood.
Before Rampage Jackson settles his feud with Rashad Evans,
I'm gonna knock you clean out.
his training partner, Britain's Michael Bisping, tries to climb back to the top of the middleweight ladder.
For this fight, I want to go back to the old Michael Bisping, if you will. I'm going to be very, very aggressive. I'm going to get in his face right from the word go. I'm going to take him out.
It's gonna be a war. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna smack him in the mouth, and he's gonna do the same.
For the 3rd fight in a row, Bisping, with 11 career knockouts, finds himself matched up with a jiu-jitsu black belt.
Relentless swings against Bisping.
I've fought many black belts before, and they haven't been a problem whatsoever. He's not going to submit me.
Dan Miller showed some really solid skills.
He's a little suspect on the ground. He'll have great submission, and I'm looking to take that to him. Help him out and finish the fight quick.
Michael Bisping hasn't got a black belt. Michael Bisping hasn't got any belts. But he's extremely good on the floor, and he showed that against Kent, who is a black belt.
Bisping smells blood.
If I want to take it to the ground, it'll go to the ground. If I want it, I'll take it to the mat. It's better.
And there's the guillotine right there.
On the feet, I'm far, far superior. It's almost a no contest. Dan is effective, and he does have effective striking, but technically it's terrible. I believe my more technical, crisper style will give him problems.
I'm just going to stick punches in his face. Maybe he's going to eat a couple of knees. I'm just going to put it to him.
He's going to get knocked out or TKO'd, but either way, I'm winning this fight.
He likes to come forwards with his punches and stuff, and I'm going to do the same thing. I like to push the face, or it's going to be a clash right in the middle of the ring.
I know I'm in way better shape than Dan. I don't think he's going to be able to survive.
I always put it on my opponent, stay active. I'm going to go out there, put it to him, knock him down, punch him in the face a couple times, first going to have to pull me off.
I want to win big. I'm going to crush this guy. I'm going to beat him in the first round.
I'll go in there, beat him up, and get my hand raised.
Up next, the man known as Little Nog plans to come up big.
Very few fans of the UFC are aware of Rogerio. He is easily as talented as his brother, and maybe even better. He's a very, very aggressive striker as well as a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I want to show the UFC fans that I'm here to stay. The UFC is my home. I want to win the championship belt.
In addition to Rashad Evans and Rampage Jackson, 2 more light heavyweight contenders will enter the octagon at UFC 114. Jason Brills, with only 2 losses in 21 career fights, squares off with international star Antonio Rogerio Nogueira.
Rogerio has had a tremendous amount of success overseas, has looked spectacular in his UFC debut against Louis Kane, and is one of the most promising contenders in the light heavyweight division.
Chegou a hora do Rogério mostrar o trabalho dele mais uma vez. Rogério is going to keep putting on great fights and find his home in the UFC.
If Rogerio Nogueira appears familiar, take a closer look. You may be confusing him with his identical twin, former Pride and UFC heavyweight champ, Rodrigo Nogueira.
Para Rodrigo, ele achava ruim. Rogério and Rodrigo were always close growing up. I mean, they were twins. Eu me lembro que
We went everywhere together. To school, to the gym. We're never apart.
When you're twins, you have a special connection. He's always been my best friend.
Rodrigo moved to the United States when he was about 20 and started fighting MMA. 3 years later, he convinced me to do the same.
Rogerio won his first 3 fights, all by submission.
In the beginning of my career, my jiu-jitsu skills were really what held me comfortable inside of the ring. It's what got me my first few wins.
In Pride, he submitted future middleweight champ Dan Henderson.
trouble against Hitler, going for the armbar.
Gotta get out.
One of the most legendary fights that happened in Pride was Rogerio versus Shogun.
They had a tremendous battle in Pride, which resulted in a very close decision loss.
Gostaria muito de ter a oportunidade de lutar com ele de novo.
Hopefully, I'll be able to get another shot at Shogun now in the UFC. I just want to prove that I could have beat him the first time.
Rogerio studied Muay Thai and boxing, scoring 2 wins over dangerous kickboxer Alistair Overeem.
Back in the full mount, here's some crowd. Any help there? The referee gonna step in? And a knee by Nogueira.
The Overeem fights proved that I could stand with anybody.
Rogerio became one of the most versatile MMA fighters in the world, earning both a black belt in jiu-jitsu and an invitation to join the Brazilian national boxing team.
I boxed competitively all over the world. I won the gold at the 2006 South American Games. A lot of confidence came from that gold medal.
Isso me deu muita confiança, realmente.
In November of 2009, Rogerio fulfilled another dream, making his UFC debut against knockout machine Luis Banya Kane.
Kane is one of the most promising prospects at 205, and a lot of people thought that he was the dark horse in the division.
Nice hands, nice hands.
I felt more focused, and I felt a lot quicker than Kane.
Kane is dropped. And again,
Rogerio engaged him in a brawl and blasted him out and knocked him out.
just missed the kill. Lights out one more time. That's it. We've seen Louis Kane take some big shots and fight some really tough guys. Nobody's ever done that for him.
I'm very happy, and I feel right at home. And I don't think I will be leaving anytime soon.